Yeah, thanks, Flow State. You have cured autism somehow.
Thank you, Flow State, for curing obesity.
Thank you, Flow State, for making me a woman.
$1 will give you access to everything Flow State does. If you don't appreciate that, I really can't help you because you are an incel.
What up? Oh, shit. Okay. I woke up a little bit ago and I'm being talked about on multiple channels. And so we're going to watch a little bit. Hi, Lou. Hi, Stingray. Thank you. You do get to watch, Joe. I've been for about, I don't know, half an hour, 45 minutes now. I've been listening to a couple different channels talk about me. You know, Lindsay's running around trying to get her attention fix. And Paul just says a minute ago, I think I'm behind on his stream on my phone, but I heard him say something. He called me bisexual. He says, Flow State's bisexual. I didn't know if you picked that up about him. And I was like, what the fuck is he talking about? And then the next breath, he goes, but basically we all are to some extent. And I was like, oh, this dude just tried to put me into the bi bus with him. He's talking about himself again. Anyways, let's watch.
Conversation the other day when he just goes, it's a little suspicious with the hand. I got to clip that. I need that.
Yeah, I like
all right, let's move on. I got Sovereign Citizens. Judge obliterates Sovereign Idiot is the title.
No way. They finally
so
finished
what I'm
talking
going
about me?
to potentially do here. Well, let me see here. Let me see what I'm going to do.
Let me see here.
Let me check on time. How are we on time? Wow, time flies here when
oh wow, he is watching me
doing abuse and confusion and
his
chaos.
dropped. You better talk about me
We're
some
almost
more,
3
man.
hours in. Snuck right up on me. All right, I'm going to throw the link if anybody else wants to address anything. If
He
not,
just
I think
noticed
hit
I'm
some
watching
breaking
him.
Slave news to get it out of the way because it's been piling back there. They might even be monthly.
I'm going to go ahead and throw the link. Yeah, he saw me watching him. And his numbers have, this is the first time I've seen Paul break 150 live viewers in, I don't know, months probably. You should keep talking about me, Paul. I'm not going over there. You're welcome to come over here. But
all that. So like if
I just want to
one
sit back
man
and chill.
like 4 women, and the 4 women are in that house not doing anything else, and that man, they all know he's getting with just those 4 women, then where is the disease coming from? That was back then. That's why it was that way. And I think it's still in the DNA of certain women to be like, I respect that. This guy, he's got some OG DNA, you know? And I think that's what men that stand in truth kind of look for, is that kind of woman that's down to submit, you know? And I just want to say that before, and I finally got a chance to. So,
right, but there's a fine line between a woman submitting to what God has created and honoring the nature of man versus submitting to a mini tyrant. Which, you know, back in the day, you had a mama who maybe had a different perspective on it. You know, father was a man; he was going to do what he does on the side. You know, as long as he doesn't fuck up the family. You know, what's not seen is not cared about, right? Whatever you do on your own time is your own thing. I don't really necessarily feel good about that either. You know, like, why can't we have a communal situation where we have multiples but a limited number of folks who come through our life who we're meant to share experience with and do it all together? Like, it
we're
defeats
not
the
all
purpose
cucks.
if I got to date women on the side that can't talk to the woman I'm with at home. I'm not looking to like have my cake and eat it too and get away with something. I'm looking to actually go beyond the boundaries and reconcile and co-create as a community in some level of love beyond the competition and the division.
And this is a narrative that he and Sneff and people keep trying to push, is that like I was ever sneaking around. Right.
The community part and how it's like we're all vibing together. It's not.
By the way, if anybody missed it, I did just drop a new short a little bit ago that covers Lindsay on snafus last night.
The alpha beta thing, really.
Like, she's nuts.
If you want to talk about faithful is a man who's full of faith. It has nothing to do with what his genitals are doing or not doing. But a man who is full of faith, who's trustworthy, who's honor able, even if he's with multiples, he's going to attempt.
Yeah, living rent free, exactly. And Paul should talk. He should talk about me more, actually. Both Snafu and Paul have had their highest numbers. Well, for Snafu, the highest numbers I've ever seen. For Moose, the highest numbers I've ever seen. Because Moose is like the crew, or anyways, Moose is part of the crew. He rebranded his channel. And for Paul, the highest numbers, not that I've ever seen, but that I've seen in quite a long time. So you guys would do well to keep talking about me.
Sermon, you bring me home this goofy bitch. Now you come home with somebody who they look at and go, this is an expression of self. This is self as self.
Thank you.
This woman's got something going on. She's an attractive being on all levels. She can communicate. She's got value system and principles. I mean, your woman might run off with her and leave your ass there. They might go on a love affair for all you know. I've said that many times. I mean, I don't have to be the fucking center of this shit.
Gotta be.
Really, the center is the God, the principles, the nature, the truth. That's what bonds us all together in the loyalty. You don't even have to be loyal to me. It's not about my pride and ego. But yeah, I mean, you know, that's kind of the way I see it. You got a woman who's like that and another woman who's like that. Well, when they meet each other, they're like, hey, girlfriend, let's sit down and fucking talk.
That is correct. They're different
people. We got
people.
something going on here. They're not worried about dividing and competing and trying to figure out who's better, who's worse. They're like, you know, kind of like, wow, this is kind of meant to be on some level. That's the way that I see it. And I've experienced that to some degree. All right. So I'm not talking from some.
And we'll back up. It looks like he's kind of mellowed out. You know, we'll back up in a little bit and get to and restart this from the beginning. I didn't even catch the beginning. I slept late as hell today. But the what's the word I'm looking for? The tone of this conversation has simmered down.
That's the opposite of what these motherfuckers do. I do that. And I don't call myself a ladies' man. It's not about that.
You're not a ladies' man.
It's about the truth and the communion and the community and the process. That just is what it is. And then you got to tune into that and become that and then speak that and give other people an opportunity to live that. You got motherfuckers running around here calling themselves ladies' man when all they know how to do is make themselves and women miserable. They don't know how to bring us back to a resolution, reconciliation,
Paul
reflection
miserable.
point. That's why I'm saying you guys got to stop talking all that ego pride shit if you ain't living it and you ain't about it and you ain't got the results.
He said
motherfuckers who got the results
pride.
and are living it and are about it and can show it and repeat it over and over again, we ain't got to talk about it and we ain't got to entitle ourselves to nothing. It just is what it is. Truth stands on its own. And if you think motherfuckers can't look at you and listen to you for a little bit and tell that you ain't got it like that, you're fooling yourself. All right, let me move on here. Let's do the break at slave news. Get it the fuck out of here. It's piling up. Gotta get rid of it. You guys are someone's taking this break in slave news today. By hook or by crook. I'm not letting it sit here. White House reacts to Trump demanding Biden take a drug test. That's been here. I must have read that headline 3 times already this fucking week. Let's hear this nonsense.
Meanwhile, the White House is responding to former President Trump's call for Joe
so
Biden
Biden's
to
on
take
heroin.
a drug test
He needs a
before
drug
next
test.
month's debate. We've been really tracking this story all week.
Maybe he's just
Spokesman
old and
Andrew
retarded.
Bates
Now he's going to wrap up.
I believe that she and I and others need to focus on and worry about at this time. I don't need to be focusing on trying to smash Lindsay. Okay. Like, what are we getting out of that?
Oops.
You know, ultimately, what am I getting out of that I can't produce with my right hand exactly? No, I'm not going to create more problems for myself and others at this time. But you never know. You know, give me a day or two, I might flip up on that.
Paul, I don't think it was an option that you have.
Discussing this after the head of the Doctors Caucus, Greg Murphy.
I'm sure that it is sort of.
What do you think? She wants the head of the caucus? Is that what you're saying?
But the State of the Union, watch this.
I'm sure it is kind of aggravating for somebody who's as grandiose as Paul is to know that he didn't get any nudes sent to him and he's not a person of interest, and that he can't do what I can do, which is not even anything that amazing. It's just he can't do it.
I'm going to be frank with you, like I usually am. Definitely don't care about these two dweebs' commentary. They look ridiculous too. These people all look ridiculous. Who like looks at them before they go on and says, "Yeah, we'll go with this. This is a good look." Employee at Fort Lauderdale Airport. Wow, try that again. I'm illiterate.
Nobody cares about the fucking news,
Someone
Paul. Just talk about me.
Right after Joe Biden. Employee at Fort Lauderdale Airport facing felony charge after stolen luggage found at his home. Well, isn't that nice? Airport scum. And not only are they taking your rights, they're taking your fucking luggage home.
A Spirit Airlines passenger whose luggage was stolen took matters into her own hands and tracked it.
You know, I've said this. This is a kind of a hacky joke that I came up with because at one point, you know how I am. I'm Italian. Italian's a Jew that doesn't read. That's what I'm told. So I'm like real cheap. You know,
cute.
Like I only flew Frontier Airlines Spirit.
I don't know who you are, but I bet we've met before.
I would fly, and then like I had a kind of hacky joke about Spirit that they call it Spirit Airlines because by the time you're done with the flight, you will be forced to become religious. All right, that's why they call it Spirit Airlines. It's like spiritual airlines. You know, you're gonna have to become spiritual to get through this flight. If you see the leg,
he had the balls to do a broadcast with people called Talking with Famous People. He was the famous person. Okay. If you go into these people fucking background, Jack Talcott, and you look at who they've been for the last 5 and 6 years, it's narcissist central. I'm the potentially famous person.
New in town. Are you going to try to get yourself blocked already? Do you really want to have to keep making sock accounts? New in town. You need to give yourself a little bit better. If you want to stay around and talk shit longer, you should be more nuanced about it. It's kind of tragic when a person has persisting anxiety and perspective of perceiving by emotions. Are you talking about Paul? That's a fantastic idea, Jonathan. New in town. Do you need a membership? Maybe somebody will help you out with those memberships. I do have a lot of very generous viewers.
$1 will give you access to everything Flow State does. If you don't appreciate that, I really can't help you because you are an incel.
That's Paul. Indeed. Those Talcott praying hands. We love you too. And we love that you love us. Yeah. See? New in town. Jeremiah Fix doesn't give nearly enough fucks about me to hate me. Same with Jonathan. See? True. I'm not sure what that hi Divine. I'm not sure what this has to do with anything. But
now, I mean, if I don't do it anymore,
maybe
no one else is allowed to steal. That's how I live life. That's why they say I'm narcissistic and egotistical. I'm a hater like that. I go, if I'm not going to lie, cheat, and steal anymore, no one else is doing it around me either. I just ruin the game for everyone. I'm that kind of guy. What's up, BSBT? Broken soul, broken teeth. Are you there or what?
That was kind of funny.
Hello, can you hear me?
I'm sorry, brother. I don't know why that just happened.
Well, every time you see me backstage, like I'll go to restream just to give you a heads up. You know, so like I'm not trying to ignore you on purpose and fuck up the broadcast.
You're a smug sovset. That's what it is.
Yeah, I am a smug sovset, yes. So, you know, I will have the narcissistic qualities to me. But I've been watching the broadcast and I realize how this works. And so I put a video in the backstage. If you'd like to play it, it's an oldie but a goodie. You probably
maybe
before.
Maybe
You've probably seen it before, but I think it actually has something that you missed in the Slavin Shackelford saga when Slavin threatens me with his Second Amendment. Threatens to put
but that's the thing. Then you're gonna make me watch this douche who's presenting it, right? Like I'm kind of cool with your douchiness because it's for rights and freedom, but you're gonna make me watch this fucking gamer chair dweeb with the Beatles haircut, and then actually like you're gonna force me to listen to it, aren't you?
Well, I like making fun of myself, and I like when these people make fun of me. But then I like presenting it to you because you can just rip them to shreds with all their nonsense, and it just makes perfect sense.
All right, let's listen to Matt Gaiman here. He's got a quick story. It's Matt Damon's cousin, Matt Gaiman, and it's the video. Judge puts smug entitled sovereign citizen in his place. Oh, okay, I see what you're doing there. That's where the smug stops it. I should have known you were working an angle on me. Should have known.
I was trying. I was trying to contribute today.
Joshua, please.
In Judge Shackelford's court, and it gets pretty.
All right, we're gonna have to back up.
If you like this
about me.
Information.
Hold on a second, guys. Sorry, I was not expecting to go live right now. Trying to kind of multitask a few things. When I heard that he tried to make me bisexual like he is, it was I couldn't not watch. Here we go. New banner. Piss off a hater by sending a super chat or a cash app for me to put on the screen with their name on it. Correct. And that's my cash app after it. If you send a cash app, obviously it doesn't go through. It doesn't auto prompt, but I will put a thank you comment up on screen with the person's name on it, just as it would show up in a super chat. Because if there's one thing that'll piss off people more than me being better than them at getting women, it's me being better than them at getting money. Because I'm not entirely sure Paul likes women, but everybody likes money.
To be honest with you, that's actually what I'm interested in.
I'm more disciplined.
Let alone yours and your shit. See how that works? Because they've demonstrated every day that you've walked by there that they don't care for themselves in their life and they don't make any fun. This is common fucking sense. If you want to achieve something in life, if you want to be me, I know the game. I know what you guys are up to and into. Ultimately, you don't need me. You want to actualize in real life? What the police interactions lately? That weather gets nice, it's just one after another.
What you were just talking.
You know, I'm much like the inauthentic corporate males. I'm thinking of starting limited liability corporation just to like limit all my to do something different. Oh boy, is that scary.
Paul, it comes back to that short-sightedness. You're giving an example of, and I see what you're doing. I can imagine, I don't know what your mind is like, but I can see you're connecting mental thoughts and pictures coming together out of your mouth. Short-sighted people don't understand.
Lindsay, how can I help you today, ma'am?
Okay, the other day you came in the room and I was talking and I said I didn't want to hear you, told you to go away.
Berju, I can't believe that
Now
you're
that
not
I've already
banned here
put
yet.
everything out there,
Why haven't I
everybody
blocked
knows,
you yet,
so I've
Berju?
got nothing to lose. So I
Because
wanted
I'm
to
merciful.
hear what you have to say this time, and I want to decide for myself if you are right. And the reason why I changed my mind is because I was in another room and I heard you say that I was a goofy bitch, and I should
Hi,
have
DB. Good to see you again.
I should have just noticed his eyes, Flo's eyes, and I actually did, and I forgave it. But I want to hear what else you have to say. I know you're not going to be nice, so
yeah, I mean, I'm not necessarily going to be nice or not nice. I'm just going to speak from the heart, as I oftentimes do, and however that lands, it lands.
Bro, the bathtub bubbles.
Yeah, I think
are
that you
delicious.
should take that attitude more often in life, and that's going to get you further, regardless of with me or without me. The fact that you have nothing to lose, right? None of us have anything to lose. We've already lost it all, many of us, with our big-brained ideas and our cleverness. So
No. Those
folks,
aren't
I think, get to a point where they realize their best thinking got
the best bathtub bubbles are when there's no soap or shampoo in the water at all. Come on, let's be real.
And wherever they are, and if they're not happy there, well, then they have nothing to lose by changing their perspective and perception, right? So really, we have everything to gain, because the more knowledge of self you have and the more discernment you have of other selves, the more you can create more or better in your life, to make a broad kind of statement, right? So I think most of our problems and issues in life come from a lack of self-awareness or awareness of what others are doing.
No shit.
Without having it to be like, blown up in our face at some point in order to be reflected upon. So that's all I was really kind of getting down to, is I'd rather not make a victim out of you, because if I make a victim out of you and don't try to force accountability, responsibility, and discernment, you're liable to create the same outcome for yourself over and over again. And if it's not beneficial to you, then why would we not want to change
Chuck,
that?
good to see you.
Right. And then that's where I was kind of getting into the subconscious thing, that I think a part of you, you've admitted it, likes the attention, likes to be talked about. I could say we're all kind of like that to a certain degree. The question is, for what?
Uncle Fatty.
You don't ever see people talking.
Ooh, what's that? That's flow state
to a certain
clips.
degree
Look
is
at
key.
that.
Now, I know
flow
you don't
state
like people
clips.
to interrupt you, but I definitely have
What's up,
some
Stoned?
things to interrupt to say.
Just
so do you want me to wait till you're
just over here watching, talking about people, talking about me, the usual. Has anybody not? Maybe I should play the short I dropped a minute. Oh, I can't do it here because it's got music in it. Yeah. I'll get the link though and put it in the chat if anybody hasn't seen it.
you're done talking.
No, you can go ahead. You can go ahead.
To that, I reply, I don't mind. I like somebody giving me a compliment and making me feel good. And I've already discussed that's because I don't really have a high self-esteem. So guilty there, big time. But I don't like to be the talk of the town, as in she's a whore. Look what she did. Especially not.
Miss Flo is still logged in. Anyways, you might as well. Flow state clips is. I don't think it has any content yet. But if you can click through to that, you might as well go ahead and sub up to it because it probably will have content. I don't know if you've noticed, my streams go like sometimes fucking 24 hours long. So nobody's going to watch a 24-hour long stream. But hopefully in the future, there will be pieces uploaded, except for like Old Joe and Planet X Watcher. And some of you do watch 24-hour long streams.
By a bunch of convicts and people that, I don't even know who they are. And my name is in their mouths, female and male.
Right,
I don't like
but
that.
that's what happens.
That's my fault. Yes.
And that's all I'm getting down to is that through this life, we're going to come to a point where we realize, okay, let's get away from the nice, kind, polite, gullible, naive, and get down to the real, true, accountable cause and effect. So you should, like, after the last year or two from being here, you should like take a cue from all the other folks who, even if they're in the chat, don't come up on panel, don't display themselves a certain way, don't talk about their private affairs. If you do all those things and you expect to not be the talk of the town, something's off in your awareness. Like, have you not watched me, Jack Talcott, the rest of us on this journey and how it goes?
That's what else I was going to say. I am aware of it. The problem is I don't care.
Chuck, generously donating some memberships. I appreciate it, Chuck. Let me find that flyover. Damn, it drives me nuts. Oh, here it is. But it drives me nuts that right when I was like, all right, you know what? I'm just going to do a live review on them live talking about me. He's like, me, I'm not going to talk about him anymore. So let's see. Here we go. And thank you for buying the missus a membership. I do appreciate that, and I'm sure she does as well. I heard somebody. I think that there's actually a way now for me to do random membership giveaways or something. I'll have to look into that. There didn't used to be, but the point. I don't think that I can just like bestow a membership on Miss Flo. That won't. Because you're right. It does seem like sort of like that's like it should go to somebody else. I get that.
And the reason why I don't care is because I'm going to be authentic. I'm going to be myself. I don't want to hide things. So there is that knowledge there, but there's kind of like a flip you in the air kind of mentality coming from me. Like I'm going to be who I am, F you kind of thing. And
that's all fine and good, but you don't like who you are and your choices and the results. So you can't say, fuck everyone, I'm going to be who I am, and then turn around and go, I don't like me and my choices.
This is a good question. Yeah, I thought it would be too. A few nights ago, she texted me and basically said, she gave me like, I don't know. She wanted to make a deal. She said, let's make a deal. I won't talk about you at all. You don't talk about me at all. And blah, blah. And I said, well, you're not actually in a position to put obligations on me. You're losing the visibility war that you started, and now you want out. I said, so I decline your I don't know what you call it, your deal, right? I'm not, since you can't obligate me, I'm not going to obligate myself. But if you want me to behave a certain way, I would suggest that you start acting in that way as well, right? Like basically karma, right? You behave how you want others to behave towards you. And since I declined that deal, last night she went on Snafus. Today she's over at Paul's. She's doing this big thing, and she here, hold on, let me get this short for you. Run around saying all sorts of insanity, which of course people will latch on to because not everybody loves me. Many of you don't care nearly enough to love or hate me. And here, I'm going to drop the link to the short that is my response to her thing on Snafus last night. It basically sums up everything that you need to know. I can't play it here because it's got a song in it.
I didn't say I didn't like me, but I'm assuming that you're,
that's low self-esteem and self-worth translates to you don't like you and your choices and what you've created. And that's apparent because you've been complaining for the last few days about what you chose to do and have created.
Yeah, and I've been trying to take accountability and responsibility for my part, which completely goes unnoticed. Instead, I just
it's not about unnoticed. Again, you're living for everyone else. Why do you even care what everyone else is noticing about you? If you're taking accountability, you know what you did, you know where you went wrong and where to not go wrong in the future. What do you even care, like you just said, what anybody else is saying you're doing or not?
I can understand.
And I've not said, real quick, Jack, and then you can take it over. I'm not even saying yesterday and the day before you weren't taking accountability. You're just like, the way this is very hard to do what I do. It's like an art, I guess, more than it is a science.
People don't like my thumbnails
based on tonality
I love my
and word
thumbnails.
choices, pivotal moments, where the root of your consciousness is, and I have to read between the lines to figure out what it is you really believe about yourself versus what you're showing.
Ain't wrong.
That's the art of what I'm doing. Am I perfect at it? Probably not. But when I listen to someone's tone and I watch
made it
the
very
words
clear in the
use, and I
text
look
that
at
it
their
was
life
not
pattern that I've
blackmail.
observed here, I can start to make some connections on the root of their consciousness, sometimes seemingly even beyond what they're aware of about themselves. That is the cornerstone of psychology and sociology as far as I understand it. So,
right, it's sort of a cognitive dissonance between thinking about the way that I am and the way that I present myself.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. As we work on being confident in ourselves, even when we're wrong, because we're confident we're going to get the right answer through experience, we start to live with a level of authority, in a sense, an energy of authority, like you'll see with me. I could be wrong. I'm going to have faith that through me choosing and being wrong, I'm going to get to right through my experience and firsthand adaptation and overcome.
Pero, I appreciate
that
you.
we all have. So I just believe.
Go ahead. You weren't finished.
Go ahead.
I have this strong desire to be like, I am who I am. I have a wild side. I'm not a whore, but I have a
All
wild.
right. You get credit for
live
it.
your life once. If you have this particular desire to do or to say or whatever, let it go. Live. And then that's fighting with, oh gee, I'm doing that. And I'm saying what I want. I'm letting myself look bad. I don't care to an extent because I know that I'm not the only one who does this kind of thing or who has.
There's a lot of other goofy bitches out there, and that's the middle ground, right? I'm kind of being flippant in the sense.
Exactly, but they're all pointing at me. But I'm the only one brave enough to say, and here's my problem right here, because I'm starting to see it as I'm talking. I'm the only one brave enough to say, yes, I did that. Yes, this happened, and tell the truth. But people don't need to know, and they don't care, and they'll invent whatever narrative they want.
Yeah, but obviously now you're kind of. I'm not saying what you're saying is not true. In a sense, it is, and you're also, it seems, padding your sense of self to continue to somewhat shift away from the fact that you're not, your discernment's not as good as it probably could be, right? I mean, again, I'm not going to claim that I haven't had interactions with people that, looking back, I go,
he already
probably
did that
not the best
last night.
discernment. You know, it's probably going to happen again, right? For whatever reason, it hasn't turned into yet. If it ever does, what it has with you, you know. But again, it's like
I'm not afraid to admit it. I like the attention from men. Makes me feel good.
Right, but again, if you can't identify what a man is based on principles and values, then you're going to get all the wrong kind of attention from folks who aren't men.
Who's an example of a real man in this room for you? That's not yourself. That's not yourself.
Again, you want me to talk hypothetically about other people who I am not. Why would I tell you about other people I'm not when you have an example of someone right here? Does it mean I'm perfect? Absolutely not. Does it mean that I don't have a dick between my legs that does thinking for me at times and gets me caught up? Absolutely not. Does it mean that I would not ask you for naked pictures and then go on the internet and try to use them against you when I asked for them and try to exploit you and play power games with you? Absolutely not.
I can't even.
So that's the narrative, right? That I'm using the pictures as leverage. You know, it's as clear as possible. I never brought them up. I didn't even acknowledge them until she tried to use them as a weapon 3 different times against me, trying to get me in trouble or something. Then I was like, all right, well, obviously she wants people to know about the nude pictures. So we're going to talk about the nude pictures. And yeah, it's just crazy.
I didn't see you wanting them in the first place. So, yeah.
Say that again?
Never mind.
Did she just say right thing? She said Talcott?
Yes.
So she's now fishing for more compliment. This is why you would be like,
I'm not afraid to admit it. I like the attention from men. Makes me feel good.
Right, but again, if you can't identify what a man is based on principles and values, then you're going to get all the wrong kind of attention from folks who aren't men.
Who's an example of a real man in this room for you? That's not yourself. That's not yourself.
Again, you want me to talk hypothetically about other people who I am not. Why would I tell you about other people I'm not when you have an example of someone right here? Does it mean I'm perfect? Absolutely not. Does it mean that I don't have a dick between my legs that does thinking for me at times and gets me caught up? Absolutely not. Does it mean that I would not ask you for naked pictures and then go on the internet and try to use them against you when I asked for them and try to exploit you and play power games with you? Absolutely not.
I can't even see you wanting them in the first place.
So, that's hilarious. She called him gay.
Yeah.
Say that again?
Never mind.
Did she just say the right thing? She said Talcott? So she's now fishing for more compliment. This is why you would be like...
No, she called you gay, Paul.
You're misunderstanding.
You are. You see, don't play with me because I know you and I know me. So when you throw it out there, if what I just heard is correct and you just said you're not so sure I'd want him anyway, you're looking to see if I'm going to say I would want him.
No, that would look extra bad.
Okay, listen. The bottom line is whether it's me, Slow State, or another man, you should be able to look into their eyes, know their heart on some level and their track record, and make a pretty good determination about what they're probably going to do.
That's fucking hilarious. Even though, Lindsay, you're a crazy fucking bitch. That was a beautiful dunk.
If you expose certain things about yourself to them in certain venues.
That's correct. Now,
that's all I was getting to. If you can't look at Slow State and tell that everything I've said for the past year is true, that he's a deviant, broken, low value, broke, unaccomplished, bitter, resentful individual, and you decided to give him pictures of you in the nude, as if he's not immediately going to dishonor himself, his relationship, you, and everyone else, predictably, like the frat boy douchebag that he is with no emotional intelligence. He's displayed that over and over again, that he has little to no emotional and spiritual intelligence. He's told you all he's self-indulgent. He's told you all he's going to do whatever he wants. He's told you all he loves to create gossip and drama. He's told you all he's dysfunctional in the bedroom and likes to choke women.
What do you want me to tell you more that you shouldn't already know about yourself?
All of that is true right there.
Because you guys are attracted to self-defeating, self-destructive, deviant,
It's nuts.
divisive.
I wonder if that's a
males.
projection too.
You have a history of that. I'd bet anything on it. And then you'll continue to play the victim in your life and tell all your friends and everyone online that all men are narcissists, all men are abusive, all men are XYZ.
Much. I really do. I'm being honest with you. I never say that stuff. I'm not.
You get what I'm saying, Lindsay. I'm doing the generalization in the sense of what most women become in this game. I'm not saying you're there yet or you ever have been or even going to be there.
I don't.
But the reality is the more you keep opening yourself up to and interacting with men who don't care on any level and are brokenhearted, they're going to fuck with you. And it's going to fuck with your perception of women and men. And it's going to be deleterious to you over time, is my presumption. Motherfucker don't even have to love you and give you attention and all the rest of it to just see you as another person and care enough to not try to fuck over your heart and your spirit. That's just basic empathy, man. I wouldn't do what these people do to people they're hanging with, to my own enemies. That's the difference between me. Right?
Well, I think because I'm used to it. And the reason why I'm used to it is because I did it to me. So I think I understand.
That's, if I can, I believe Lindsay's learning she's learning about herself. And the thought came up with the patterns, the broken and the hurt will continue to attract the broken and the hurt until they heal themselves.
Right. It's one thing again, Talcott. Let me be clear, right? We're all men on some level, and that has animal aspects. You know, I talk some shit in the bedroom, right? I get a little feisty. I might grab a woman up a little bit from time to time, but I kind of have an awareness of what's going on, and I'm kind of playing into the power dynamic. I'm not actually.
So he beat me too, like right before I could push click start pull. He's gonna do it for me.
Replaying past trauma and taking out my anger during sexuality on women. There's a fine line there, right? I may say, yeah, bitch, this, that, and the third. Ultimately, when I get away from that mode, I have love and care for the woman. I respect the woman. I see a woman there. I don't see a lowly bitch, right? That's the other side of us. That's the shadow side. Again, it's probably good to look at the shadow side and integrate it to some degree so it doesn't kind of take you down or go ignored and act out other places. But there's a fine line there between recognizing the shadow and integrating it versus it becoming a modality for you to express because you got no other modality of true love and care and self-respect and respect for the other, right? It's a fine line there from what I've experienced. And quite frankly, I've never really been a person, even when women want that, as much as I pop shit and show how I am in certain ways, I don't really get off on demeaning a woman, right? I like the idea of them being really into whatever's going on and us kind of really like having that mutual connection and respect and her wanting all of me, right? Me wanting all of her, but not this fucking choking. Like his.
Let me address this. Why don't you just answer the question, do you like choking women? Because I'm not in the habit of what's the word I'm looking for? Encouraging people to make accusations against me that are baseless. He has no reason to think I like choking women. And so I'm not going to respond to all claims, to everything people say about me. I'm not going to validate it. That's what I was looking for. I'm not going to validate the accusation. I mean, John Wayne, are you a PDF? You know? Why don't you just answer the question? It's that sort of thing. I'm not going to validate it.
First fucking lines to them three goofy bitches up there who are also broken hoes was, you know, I'm going to turn you all out, right? And choke you and treat you. I'm like, dude, this is your first go-to of an interaction with a woman is abusive, deviant, fucking shadow self-behavior. And you think that shit's cute and mysterious and to a lot of.
And what he's talking about right now, which is definitely an inaccurate misrepresentation. It was the speed date I did with Grace Thorpe and Lauren De Laguna and one other chick, I don't remember her name, on Playing with Fire. This was, I don't know, a month ago, maybe a little less. But
you broken hose it is. You get all excited and turned on by that. Then you'll sit right there with a motherfucker after he just beat you up in the bedroom and submit to police. And I go, that shit should dry you up like the Sahara. I don't get it. I get it, but I don't get it.
Right, but you get the point that I'm making. I'm not going to validate every accusation by giving it a
stand for something in the face of other men who are going to kill me. These little boys beat you up in the bedroom to show that they're tough and in charge, then go out and submit to a group of men. You should be disgusted by a motherfucker like that. And you guys are turned on by it? That's trauma. That's kinky, twisted shit. That's you living out who your daddy was. That you see in these motherfuckers.
She says she's a lawyer. Yeah. actually when we did the speed date, I think that was the day that she says it either that day or the day before. She had just passed the bar somewhere, so I don't really know much more. But according to her, when we did the speed date, she was a lawyer. All right, let me shut up. And
I hate to tell you, a lot of this shit is Freudian.
I don't know if I agree with that. I would have to think it out honestly, because my initial reaction is just to say, no, what the hell are you talking about? So I need to digest that one.
Well, you also got to look at the inversion of it, right? Because your daddy might be the exact opposite of what you perceive that slow state and other men are. Regardless of what they are, it's about what you perceive. So you may have had a daddy that was completely one way, and you're kind of attracted to the inverse reflection of that, to the other side of dysfunction, right? If that makes sense.
I can't deny that if I'm forced to make that comparison. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's all I'm saying is you got to look at this shit.
Exciting men, macho, exciting, taboo, not to the point where you're being choked to death or you're getting slapped in the face, but just that regular thrill of the bad guy. He's exciting. I'm not talking about Flo, the typical bad guy that women like.
I know what you're saying. This is a common thing with women, right?
I'm not denying. Right. It absolutely is.
Right. But you want
it's fun.
Yeah, but you want the best of both worlds, because fun turns into trauma and hurt if the quote unquote dark side is not tempered by the light side. You don't want to be allured and attracted to a bad boy who's a bad man. That's how you get abused and traumatized, right? If you look at it, again, I know it's how it's going to sound, but I just got to be honest about it. Maybe I am a narcissist. I fell in love with me on some level. When I look at who and what I am, like what I was, which was a low life, bad person at one point, addict, scumbag, liar, cheater, a lot like he is now. I see that thing that some women would have been attracted to who were broken women. Now, on the other side of things, I go, I actually have virtue and principles and value in my life. I'm willing to do what's true and what's right, while the bad boy cowards cower in fear with their hats backward, right? So I'm considered an outlaw to a system of fascists who want to...
You missed with that one. I don't know why I got a kick out of that.
Take my natural masculinity and direct it with policy and code. So I look at myself archetypally and I say, I'm the best of both worlds, because I'm a truly good man at heart, but in and of the world, I'm considered a bad boy, a bad man, because I'm an outlaw to statute, policy, and code. That's the true dark side, quote unquote, light side, where it all works together for everyone's good archetypal beingness, versus you saying you're attracted to an actual bad man who's brokenhearted, who's got a twisted, deviant look in their eye, who does nothing in their life but engage in codependency, addiction, bondage, and abuse. You don't want that as a woman, because then you wind up having addiction, codependency, bondage, and abuse. That if you're attracted to that and you like that and you want more of that, you probably need therapy. I don't know how else to say it. And again, the ironic part is I've seen these guys who in life who you women are all attracted to, because they purposely put on, they know they're sick, so they purposely play up their dress and their presentment as the mysterious bad boy. They're just dysfunctional and twisted. And I've seen you women who are attracted to these men, and then when they beat on you and abuse you while not even standing in the world for what's true and what's right, it just becomes embarrassing and pathetic.
You know, this is a good question. Maybe Paul just wants a backwards hat, but he can't afford it. Maybe we should start a GoFundMe to get Paul a hat. And then earrings. Maybe he wants earrings. Do you think that that's the case?
Some frat boy douche with an earring who wants all the time, energy, attention, and resources. He's the hit. He's got an earring, and he's got that frat boy douchey college vibe that you all love so much at the sports bars. He wears his hat backwards and makes little quips, so he's cool to hang out with.
Got to break up the, actually, maybe I'll slow it down some. So it's not like getting fucking Gatling gunned by angry New York projection voice.
I've never
I don't see.
Never, but I would not put up.
You get what I'm saying? Verbally or emotionally, you get beat on, if not physically. Absolutely. You don't think you've seen that woman's face who's with. Why do you women not look at the woman next to the man you're talking about and see how miserable and angry they look and conclude that they're a horrible person to be with as a mate? You can't see that. You can't see a woman when you look at her is beaten down, broken, drained, miserable. That woman is that. You can't read that coming off that woman. And just by virtue of seeing the woman that he's dealt with for 5 to 10 years, know that he's nothing you want to be around. I don't get it. Or maybe it's because you in your bizarre mind,
the healing, brother.
But you think you're going to help him and change him, and you're not going to become like her. I think.
Which guy? I'm 37. Paul is 34.
You're delusional.
No, I know
You're gonna
that.
look just like that woman if you were to fuck Slow State and get around him. Second of all, I think that you women like playing games with other women. You like the thrill and the power knowing you took some woman's man and it wasn't hard. He's a hard up, desperate loser. He'll take any pussy you throw at him. That's obvious by looking at him.
This is
Look
the
at the woman
healing
he's with.
panel.
She's a highly unattractive being, spiritually, physically, and emotionally.
He's
I'm
yapping
sorry to
about
have
me.
to say it like that. These are very low value people with very few options of mates and careers. You better look at your self-esteem and self-worth when you start middle-age selecting for people like this to be involved with. This ain't high school and middle school anymore. You got to have some standards and discernment for who you want to co-create with. And when someone can't hang drywall and they look twisted and deviant and angry and miserable, chain smoke with gray skin, and the woman next to him is no different, you might want to stay far the fuck away. Unless you have a real.
That is true. Thank you for the prompt. Thank you for the prompt.
Yeah, thank you, Flow State. You have cured autism somehow.
Thank you, Flow State, for curing obesity.
Thank you, Flow State, for making me a woman.
Really low self-worth and esteem and no standards for who you're going to co-create with.
I'm not into him. I'm not. I mean, I was at some point, but I'm not. I don't want to be with this dude. I don't want to be with this guy.
It's not about him.
But
It's about you.
I don't want to steal a man from his wife. I was given lots of lies to help me kind of.
Let's see the poll results. I just entered the. Is Paul projecting his own choke fetish? 34% of you said no, he's just making shit up. 30% said yes, he likes choking his partner. 25% said yes, he likes being choked. And 9% said no, he's right about Flo. Out of 55 votes.
Why are you attracted to men at all who are depressed and angry and lonely? Isn't it obvious by looking at
do anything else.
that he's depressed, angry, and lonely?
None of us can do anything else but be
lonely,
ourselves.
I don't know,
honestly.
but depressed. Well, no. I've
Why
talked
do
to
you
him
think
a
he does
lot.
these broadcasts for 12 hours a night, all night long, and sleeps all day? Or wakes up to not work and work horribly with 3-4 hours sleep? He's depressed, angry, and lonely.
I'm none of those things.
I don't.
You got like, how do you guys not read all these signs off people? I get a whole upload on someone when I look at them. I get their whole background, their family history.
I saw the eyes. I even.
I didn't know that Paul was Neo. Gets a whole upload when he looks at somebody. That's amazing.
Or wakes up to not work and work horribly with 3-4 hours sleep. He's depressed, angry, and lonely.
I don't.
You got like, how do you guys not read all these signs off people? I get a whole upload on someone when I look at them. I get their whole background, their family history.
I saw the eyes. I even talked to him about it, and he said, "Yeah, everyone."
You did the same thing with Z. They're telling me down there right now. This is my point. You're going to do it again until you fix yourself. You can't tell that the Tedic warrior's depressed, angry, and lonely.
Yeah, he's a jerk.
Right. So this is what's amazing. This is, guys, I'm going to do what he does. Guys, take a look at my life. This was me in middle school and high school. I have something going on. There's no denying it. Who do the women all go to? The pathetic warriors and the slow states.
What do you have going on, Paul? You don't have a car. You don't have a license. You don't have a job. You don't have a house. You live with your girlfriend who's, I still think there's a damn good chance. Hold on, let me put it up. There is a goddamn good chance that this woman is his mom. She's got the right age. She got the right complexion. She's got her education is in the same field that Paul's dad is in, right? Absolutely could be his mom. But what do you tell us again what you got going on? I know, guys. It's amazing, isn't it?
I'm honest about it. Right? I don't have to even I don't even have to accept it or understand it or even care, because what God has taught me is what I used to resent and even maybe still have in my DNA resentment, I have to thank God for. It's protected me from all these goofy bitches who I would have had children with who would have destroyed my life. Thank you, God. It used to drive me crazy on the come up in my early years. Why do these guys get the women? God revealed it to me. Paulie, they're broken harlot Jezebel bitches. You don't want them anyway.
God didn't reveal. You don't want them anyways. You're into dudes. Yeah, I explained that to her, like, which I'm sure she already knew to agree, but I explained that to her just like an hour ago.
Thank you, God. Everything that I was confused by was a source of protection for me to get me where I'm at now to do what I do now and now co-create from a functional, healthy, somewhat loving and caring perspective, which I was not capable of before. So it wouldn't have mattered what woman would have dealt with me. I'd have been just like them.
Wouldn't it be great, women and not men, because unless you're gay, but if you could find somebody that had that exciting quality to them, that
Which
bad
one?
boy kind of aspect, but they really cared and they were really with you only. They weren't a polygamist, they weren't cheating and this and that.
You're doing it again. You're doing it again. Slow State was not just with you. So why are you
I'm not
double
saying he was.
standarding?
We were not together.
Yeah,
You
I
were
wasn't at all with
you
her.
were pursuing him. You're
He was asking
pursuing
me
a
for
man who's
pictures.
with another woman already while
Like-
saying you don't want a man who's polygamist. Bizarre and goofy. What man do you think out there's only going to talk to you and be attracted to
John
you all
Wayne,
day, every
that's
day?
what
You're
he
still in your
does.
delusion and ego. A lot of you women
He
need to
talks
really get
crap
with
on
reality
people.
in the program. Just cut the games.
Okay.
There's
And you know
no
what? I could
man
be
out
wrong.
there
I
who's
don't- I'm
never
just-
going to only be with you and just you and
There's
never
no
have
reason
attraction
that
to another
couldn't be
woman.
his
It
mom,
doesn't
though.
exist.
No. Of course he is. I look at other women that are beautiful and I'm not even a lesbian.
Right. So instead of you playing ego games, get some of these good women who you're not over to the house so we can co-create and do a tribe. Instead of you figuring out how to make an enemy out of your man's nature, why don't you start to work with it? Hey, I do want polygamy because I want community and I want love between men and women. So let's go. Let's go for it. Paulie boy, Slow State boy, whoever it is you're dealing with. I'm not going to deal with you because you're a liability. I'm going to say it like that. Like separate from the physical and all the rest of it, I'm not dealing with a woman who's a liability. I don't care how hot she is or how hot she's not. Right? You could give me a 7 or 6 at this point who's riding for the cause, and I'm taking real bitches over bad bitches at this point.
Bro, you don't know about a 7 or a 6 or real bitches or.
It just is what it is.
You
You're not
just
going to
wanna
get
be
me
choked
caught up
by a
and locked up for
boyfriend.
playing some house and some emotional game. We're riding on values and principles, or we got no business laying down together or anything else. I've had to learn that the hard way because my dick likes to tell me something else is true, and it ain't.
That's a funny comment. By the way, if anybody's not, let me pull up the link for you. If anybody's not subscribed to Stone but Not Alone, let me get you his link. Good shit. He does panels as well, and is one of the best on the fly shit talkers in these YouTube streets. I'm not. I don't have whatever the. I can respond to situations quickly. I'm great at responding in the moment, but I can't respond in the moment with just like a flurry of creative cussing like Stone can. I got you.
You're out of here, Talcott. I appreciate you, brother. We'll see you later.
Respect.
That's the thing, man. If Slow State really cared about himself and cared about you, he wouldn't be fucking with you because he'd seen what I've seen. Instead, he'd be trying to work with you for you to be better, for him to be better. He's not doing that. So
It's amazing to me that Paul doesn't have, and Jack does this too. All these motherfuckers who don't have the self-awareness to they try to act like they're trying to help people improve or make them better. Like he just said, all they're trying to do is make you be what they want you to be. I don't know. Is it possible they don't recognize their self-interest in trying to help people?
Oh, does every man want to see every woman naked on some level? Yeah. Do we also have discernment and a heart on some level to see that this
No,
woman
he
is
didn't
not the
say
woman to be
anything.
playing with, and maybe I have my own issues as well? Yeah. If you can't bridge that gap, you got big trouble,
I have
especially
two
if you
brothers.
can't become aware of that gap.
I have two brothers. I'm aware of that, and I'm aware that there's issues within myself, and that that need
For what?
improvement for sure.
Andrew.
And I realize that I also have this kind of wild side that I need to be able to do something with that's productive, and not wild like I'm going to go screw everybody. My number is low. My number is low. I don't know why.
Right. I mean,
people
again, there's
acknowledge that more.
women are supposed to be,
My
when they're not
number is low.
traumatized and broken, like sexual creatures, just like men.
That's
Right.
what I
Again,
wanted
it's
to
just
ask you
about how you express that and who you express it with and where you draw the line.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you, or the other gentleman on here, whoever's on here, both of you maybe. My grandfather told me a long time ago before he died, and he was one of the biggest male figures in my life. And he said, there's two kinds of men, and they both want the same thing. And one goes fast and one goes slow. Period. Is that
I
true?
guess that's one way of looking at it. That's basically a roundabout way of saying some folks try to play a long game and other folks play an immediate short game. I've told you guys here from the beginning, I'm more of a long game person. So while I am open, again, I just got to be all the way real about it. My animal body's open to sexuality with probably 3/4 of women I meet. But through conversation and becoming aware of who they are and who I am and how
What
it's
link?
not gonna work,
You want to come up
it
here?
dwindles down to like less than 1% are meant to fuck with me. It just is
Are you
what it
asking
is.
for a StreamYard link?
Whether I
simple
like
matter.
that, whether I want that.
Yeah.
Say again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, it's a
brother.
simple
I mean,
matter.
again, that's the feminine aspect of self, right? Like if we're all the way in the masculine, we want to fuck 3/4 of women we meet. If we get back in touch with that sort of right brain.
All right. I'm not doing an open panel right now, and I'm not gonna keep you up here, but if you have something to say on the topic, go ahead and I'll have you up for a minute.
Heart-based intelligence and discernment, it reveals to us, especially through maturity, that just because you can does not mean you should.
Well, yeah, Release Productions is going to come up, and we're going to have a chat, I think, about something for a second. But I kind of want to listen to what this loser has to say about me. Spicoli. What's going on, Spicoli?
Hey, Flo. Hello, guys. Lindsay, congratulations on your low body count. So I just want to make a quick address to this gentleman here. When he says he wants to bang 75% of the women he meets or sees, I just have to say his standards are low, because 80% of the broads I see in America are totally unfuckable to my 66-year-old rear end. And I got 17 natural T levels. The average American, I come on these shows and I preach the same shit over and over. I sound like a broken record. Look, listen, guys, the average American woman weighs 171 pounds. 50 years ago, she weighed 121 pounds. So I just want to make an announcement. All you guys that think you cannot get the JJ, you guys, I'm going to be honest with you guys. The only reason you can't get it is because the only reason you shouldn't be able to get the JJ in this world is if you want to not bang fat chicks. Because since the average woman's 171 pounds, that means there's very few women in America that are less than 140 pounds, maybe 20% or something. How many women are way less than 125 pounds that are over 21? Probably 10%. So in other words, that's what's making it hard for guys to get laid. The reality is, look, did everybody see Flo? Did you see Miss Alabama? Did you see Miss Alabama?
No, what about her?
She's put it, okay. Miss Alabama, 2024. I think she probably weighs in at about 450 pounds. Mm-hmm.
Shut up.
No, I swear to God, pull it up. Miss Alabama, she's 450 pounds, and she said she worked every day for the last year on her speech, on her walking. She sure didn't work on her fucking health. But yeah, you know what the pathetic part was, Flo? when they congratulated her, all the thin hot chicks that were finalists that lost out to her, they all had to sit there and clap and go through they didn't want to clap. They all had to play the woke game that, okay, we've got now a Miss Fat Ass Alabama, and we're gonna shove it down, guys' throats. And you know what, man? Flo, don't believe me. Just type in Miss Alabama 2024, and you tell me what she looks like. You tell me if you would. She's Miss Alabama. She's going to be in the Miss America contest.
Hold on.
Did you see her, Flo? Flo,
yeah, I'm gonna share. I'm sharing screen. Hold on.
Thank you. Now we're gonna rock and roll, me and Flo together. I'm on shrooms, Flo. I'm doing some shrooms.
This shit. That's amazing.
And you know what? What they're trying to do is they're trying to normalize this shit for us for us men. They're trying to put this on the cover of, Sports Illustrated. They're trying to put it in Playboy now. But yet, you know what's funny? How come Taylor Swift dancers on her Eras tour with Eras tour, how come they're all fucking chads and thin as fuck? How come I don't see fat fucking men on the cover of muscle magazines? How come women are allowed to still, get thin guys and look at fit men, but yet they expect us to look at this shit? Would you look at this pathetic crap? Miss Alabama. I mean, could you imagine, Flo, how would you feel if you were a chick who was like an 8, 9, or 10 and you lost out to this fat Landwell slob? How would you feel?
Well, I'd be pissed, presumably. I sort of think I'm a conspiracy theory person, and I think that this is all social engineering. They're trying to antagonize people, I think.
Why? Why? Well, I think what they're trying to do is they're basically trying to dumb everybody down, make everybody fat. They're trying to normalize. You know what it is? It's a race to the fucking bottom. And I'll be honest, if you guys don't see that this country's failing by looking at fat shit like this and normalizing it, then you guys just, I don't know what kind of drugs you folks are on, but this shit has got to stop, and it's not going to stop, Flo, until we start bringing back fat shaming again. If I have to fat shame this pig ass,
hold on. Let me pause you. Put a break. Let me pause you real quick.
Okay, sorry.
Amy says, "Why though? Why bother antagonizing people? Because it's divide and conquer strategy, and the easiest way to do that is, I mean, this is one of those things, right? That is easy. It's an easy divisive tool, right? Look at it right now. We're up here talking shit on fat chicks now, and everybody who's into body positivity or who is fat now will be against it. So it's a good divisive tool, as are lots of things. The drag queen story hour, for instance. I view that in the same way.
Transing our kids, same shit. All of it's the same time. And you know what's funny? I live 10 miles from Palm Springs, California, 9 miles, okay? It's the gayest city in California, over Frisco, over West Hollywood, okay? Which makes it the gayest town in America, probably, right? Guess what? Our school districts are very conservative. Would you believe in Palm Springs Unified? We don't teach transgender crap. We don't have drag queen show shit. In fact, our pride parades, they are family oriented. You don't see guys walking around in assless chaps and shit like that with boners. So we're not indoctrinated. It's funny, in the gayest city in fucking California, if not America, we're not even indoctrinating these little motherfuckers into anything like this shit at all. And you won't see very many trans people. It's mostly just older, rich gay dudes around here and shit, with money. And you know what? Most soy boys under 30 years old that claim to be heterosexual, they come across more feminine and gay than most of these 56-year-old gay dudes I know and meet. So, Flo, it's just, you know what? They're ruining this country for us. I mean, if somebody told me 20 years ago that Miss Alabama would look like this, I would have said, no, fuck. I wouldn't have believed it. Would you? Would you? Even 5 years ago, 10 years ago, you would never have believed this would be Miss Alabama. Would you, Flo?
Mm-mm.
Am I right?
Right, you're right.
I mean, you know what? Here's the difference too, ladies. You know why it's more important that we're physically attracted to you than you are to us? Because you're just spreading your fucking legs.
We got to actually get our dicks hard. And do you think me looking at Miss Alabama is going to get my dick hard? Fuck no. Flo, did she get your love muscle between your legs stiff? No.
Hold on, Spicoli. I want to read this. This is a picture of a flyer that was put on the paper towel dispenser in my daughter's school's bathroom. And I'm in Kansas City, right? This is a pretty conservative area, but it says, this is the sort of indoctrination that they are doing that I don't like. Yeah. And I'll tell you why after I read it. But it says, do you want a club where you feel like you belong? A safe place to socialize, share emotions, and discover ways to make our school more accepting and inclusive? If so, please join Club Inclusion. The reason I hate this fucking poster is because the entire implication of it is that you are not safe, you do not belong, and you are not included in school as it is at large, or in your home, or in your community at all. It's very undermining and manipulative.
First of all, Flo, these are some of the most inclusive motherfuckers in the world. Think about it. I got nothing against. You know why? First of all, I'll tell you what's wrong with this. It's fatties like this that sit there and complain about global warming, but yet I guarantee you, a pig like this eats 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 calories a day. No way she's eating 1,500 calories a day. She's adding to global warming. And you know why we were locked down during COVID? Because of these fatties. It wasn't because of old people. If people were, you know what, 80% of the people hospitalized with COVID weren't necessarily old. They were overweight. They were fucking overweight. And these fatties are going to bring down the healthcare system. Now they want to go on Ozempic, which is $1,200 a fucking month, and have insurance pay for it. How about this one? If a chick has a big nose and she's a straight chick, she can't get a nose job free of charge through the insurance company. But if a guy wants to become a girl and get facial feminization surgery, he can get a nose job. He can get cheek implants and a chin implant and all that shit.
Let me change directions and ask you a question. Okay. What's the deal with you and Based Oracle?
No deal. I just don't like the guy.
Who do you think's going to win?
I like the guy. I think he's a loser. I think he talks up a big story, but he doesn't have the balls to have me on his show. He's you know what he is? He's a 38-year-old frustrated loser, in my opinion. He's the opposite of you. That's why I don't like him. I like you. He's the opposite of you. It's that simple.
That's interesting, because I've heard a couple people say that he and I have similarities.
Well, in my opinion, you don't. I don't think you guys are similar at all. You know, I think you're 10 times the man his ass is. You're not soy as fuck. He is. So I don't see any connection. You're smart. He's dumb. You know, you let me on your show. He doesn't. There's literally, he has trans men on, like, generally specific, you know. Go type in, you know what, bro? Type in Uncle Buck trans, and you'll pull up the Uncle Buck the tranny, and he looks like generally specific. I'm not making that shit up. Look, can we go to YouTube and search Uncle Trans? No, Uncle Buck Trans. Can we pull up one of his videos, Flo? Tell me that dude doesn't look like general specific. He does, doesn't he?
All right, I'll pull this up, and then I'm going to drop you down, and I'm going to keep watching. I have talked to Uncle Buck on a panel before, not mine.
Uncle Buck's a cool guy. I like Uncle Buck. Uncle Buck fuck. Can we pull him up?
No, it's not. It's not Uncle Buck. It's what's his name? I know who you're talking about.
No, it's just put in Uncle Buck Trans and it'll pull him up. I forgot his name. If you put in Uncle Buck, you'll get that John Candy movie. You got to put in Uncle
Buck Angel. Buck Angel.
Buck Angel. That's his name. Buck Angel. That's it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Does he look like generally specific? I think he does, doesn't he?
Hold on.
Oh, you've been on a panel with Uncle Buck?
I took it off screen because Uncle Buck is a porn star as well, and I didn't want something to come up. So this is Buck Angel, who's still got his vagina. That is a weird sentence to say out loud.
You know what's funny? These guys claim they have gender and body dysmorphia, right? So how can you claim to not have body dysmorphia, like if you're a male and you become a female, but yet, no, if you're a female who becomes a male, no, let's say you're a male who becomes a female, but you keep your penis, you keep your penis and you get big tits. Isn't that going to be gender? I mean, if you transition and you don't get a real neo-vajayjay.
All right, Spicoli. You give your final words.
My final words, I'm about ready to eat some more magic mushrooms I just got about 30 minutes ago. And from there, Lindsay, if you want to get your body count a little higher by one more guy, contact me. And that dude,
you know, she's probably not too far from you. What part of California did you say she was in? I'm not going to say that, but
well, I'm near Palm Springs, Southern California. So, but you know what?
This is something that could actually, this could actually happen geographically. So go ahead and make your proposition to Lindsay again.
Lindsay, if you want to do magic mushrooms with me, contact me. You know how to reach me. That's number one. Number two, that thing you read about that's in your daughter's Kansas City restroom, guess what? Crap like that is not in our restrooms in Palm Springs, the gayest city in California, believe it or not. Isn't that weird? How the gayest city in California, you know why? Because what do a bunch of homosexual men have to do with tranny men or women? Nothing. Think about it.
All right, Spicoli. Thanks for coming up. Thanks for your feedback, and good luck with Lindsay.
Lindsay, I'm going to fuck you one day.
I had to do it. Welcome, Amy, the new member, who's from the same area as me.
I'm getting too much money.
Let's see. Here we go. I don't think there's a ton of this left that's pertinent to me. And I know that I see some people going, oh no, his voice sucks. I get it. But I'm curious about the rest of it.
Because as a man, we want to get everything we can. Just as a way of saying we're that thing. We're it. We got value. Women want us. That's a dangerous road to walk. Not everything is for everybody all the time. Most things are not, just like most people. For me, in my life, 3/4 of the women I meet got trauma, abuse, alcohol, drugs, and they're jabbed up at this point. I can't even begin to be sexual with them and lay with them and go somewhere with them because we got like 5 years of fucking fellowship and therapy to get through. And I don't know how to make that alignment.
I'm dealing with the same.
So that's kind
the
of
last time you tried to come up.
Almost have to have a spiritual practice. You know, I could imagine
this is her in the middle
being like
on the
that.
screen. So we're watching.
You know, the
that drama continue to unfold,
where women all around him seeing value in him, even mutual attractions, but just it being just almost written in the ether that it's not even going to be addressed. That's what I conclude most women are doing with me. They already intuitively know we can't go nowhere. Because of who I am and how I'm living and who and what they are and how they're living.
You're a gay man?
I think women do the same thing. Oh, what was that?
Within a couple days, usually these women realize that if they talk to guys like Paul, it's like, and me, it's like, oh, it's all good until you start mentioning how you want to steer your own ship and not just go to all these places that these goofy bitches want us to go show up at for them and put ourselves in fucking danger. It's like, the guys that take it slow,
what are you talking about,
the
guy?
Smart men, and Christ for sure took it slow, like Paul was just saying. And yeah, very quickly they realize that it's not like that. You're not just gonna sleep with a guy like that. We're not gonna go get with a jabbed up, goofy bitch. First of all.
Well, and that's part of why, like, too, you know, Jennifer, as a sort of what I've learned in this game, that I guess it was available for me with other women, but not in the same way. Because we didn't have a communication dynamic that we developed. But what I've learned about a woman's place, especially like sort of if you want to call it a main woman, like a woman who you connect with on pretty much all levels, they're there to be a counterbalancing to what the man's blind spot is, right? As a man, we have that blind spot at times of lusting and wanting to experience and be physical, right? We're physical, grounded, worldly creatures. Just as a beingness. right? That woman, in a sense, is an equal but opposite counterbalancing modality in that man's life. So there are times where if I'm completely honest and open with Jennifer and we've gotten past the idea that there's going to be other women in my life,
It's the most
even
fire.
if not now, at some point, she becomes then a counterbalancing aspect to me to make me go back.
Did he say other men and women in his life?
What I've learned about a woman's place, especially like sort of the, if you want to call it a main woman, like a woman who you connect with on pretty much all levels, they're there to be a counterbalancing to what the man's blind spot is, right? As a man, we have that blind spot at times of lusting and wanting to experience and be physical, right? We're physical, grounded, worldly creatures, just as a beingness, right? That woman, in a sense, is an equal but opposite counterbalancing modality in that man's life. So there are times where if I'm completely honest and open with Jennifer and we've gotten past the idea that there's going to be other women in my life, even if not now, at some point, she becomes then a counterbalancing aspect to me to make me go back into myself and become more holistic, to where I am forced to look at whatever woman this is beyond her physicality or even my lust, to just have another one, to actually evaluate who this person is as a being. What are they going to bring to the table? This is where men,
Bro, you got to have the first one before you can have another one.
Oftentimes fall short. They're screening a woman for her physicality, attractiveness, her youth, whatever the fuck it is, and not at all incorporating the fact that she's a statist. She's got daddy issues. She can't submit to a process with a man, right? Like the devil's child, pretty much. So
Would
you
you
got
not
to
say
have
you
a
have those
womanly.
issues?
Say again.
You have issues with your mom or your dad or whatever. So, I mean, I would say that most people out here are broken, at least in some aspect. Can you admit that about yourself?
I don't necessarily, when I say broken hoe, I'm just saying that we're not doing the best we could do and we're continuing it like it doesn't need to change. I'm not going to sit here and necessarily characterize me or anyone else completely as broken. You know, we have tests and challenges. There's trauma maybe in us and with our experiences. You know, ultimately, if we can reconcile that, if we could cope with that, if we could create beyond that, then I don't see it as broken. I see that as part of what makes me. That's fuel for my fire, you know? But again, that's subjective. Ultimately, I don't see myself as a broken person at this point. I guess you could say I was. If anything,
You are a broken person. The fact that you don't see yourself as a broken person when you're obviously projecting and jealous as a motherfucker, it's part of your brokenness. You're broken in a defensive, narcissistic way. You can't see your own flaws. You can acknowledge them conceptually as something that you used to have, but you're incapable of seeing them in the present. Acknowledging them in the past, but denying them in the present is not a sign of maturity. It's a sign of your continued brokenness. You broken hoe.
I'm fixed or on my way to be fixed, because I know who and what I am and what I'm not on some level. I do what's true and what's right as much as possible. When I make mistakes, I hold myself accountable and I'm able to express true love and care beyond the lust and sexuality aspect of communication, because that's all it is. You know, when you see self as self beyond even just lusting for the person over there.
Paul, if you're watching and decide you want to come up, you know how to get a hold of me on Messenger or say something in the chat. This is a dude that found both both the channel and my personal Facebook pages and messaged me on both of them and then blocked me on both of them. So I couldn't even respond to his message. It's like, what is this shit?
When you get to a point where you see all beings as an aspect of self, you immediately are open to sexuality with them. Why wouldn't you be? This is the thing that a lot of women don't understand, that a man is not threatened by sexuality. They are. So when I feel trusting and safe in myself and in my life, I'm sexually open and available to any other self I see as self. And I'm able to see self as self with anybody on some level. You know, and then we got to go to the rest of the fucking criteria. If you want to talk about Maslow's
hierarchy of needs, right? Does this person work for themselves? Are they successful? Are they accountable? Are they responsible? Can they care for themselves? Do they
Or
have
do
a
they
good
live
mind and
with an
heart
old
going in
woman?
the same direction? Are they able to conceive of principles and values? How to co-create as a man and a woman under God and under a household roof? There's a lot there. There's a lot of moving parts. And you know what?
Welcome to the shit show.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. You?
Not bad. Wow, this guy is something else. Can I ask you a question? You're married, right?
Sure.
You are?
Functionally, yeah.
Well,
We're
I mean,
technically, we're living in sin, but yeah,
no,
essentially.
but okay, essentially you're married. Let me ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me from your subjective point of view, what are gender roles for you?
In my personal life, or
Yes, not for everybody.
right,
You and the lady that you love.
they're very traditional. You just saw me eating food that she brought me.
Yeah.
I try to my every now and then she'll work or take on a job, or she'll help me, but generally I strive to and succeed at her not having to work if she doesn't want to.
Okay.
So they're very traditional though.
But outside of that part of gender roles, how else is your relationship successful?
I mean, it is success. I feel like
Okay,
you're going somewhere, and I don't know where you're going.
Okay, all right. Let me tell you where I'm going.
Mm-hmm.
My husband, I cater to him.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he works. He is the financial provider of our household. He does not ever want or need for anything. So, like what you
Yeah.
just said, I
would
pack.
say that's
Yeah.
reflective of mine as well as of ours.
So I get up early in the morning. I cook him breakfast before work. I pack his lunch. His coffee's made. He comes home. Dinner is on the table. The house is immaculate. Okay. And this is my love language as a woman in a traditional gender role, which I thoroughly love and enjoy. And I feel it's not for every woman, because
I think it's for more women though than more than think it is. If that I didn't phrase that well. I think there's a lot of women and a lot of men probably too who think that the traditional gender roles are not for them, when in reality they would like it, but they would be happier that way.
So my husband is loving. He is protective. He makes sure that my needs are met, right? Whatever my needs may be, that's always subjective for a female, but women love men that are not 100% self-centered. This guy, he's single because he is completely self-centered and he cannot look at a woman and respect her. Now,
hold on. I don't know. He's got a weird relationship. So he lives with her.
Okay.
She's old enough to be his mom. I suspect she might actually be his mom. He says it's his girlfriend. I've heard that she sleeps on the couch. I don't know what the reality of their situation is, but he does live with a woman who's old enough to be his mom. So he's not, I don't think, at least he portrays himself as not single.
So I think that, and you can correct me if you think I'm wrong, but women have a role, and that is to be the caretaker.
I'm with you.
Men have a role to be the protector.
Yep.
But men also need to have an emotional love language with their wives, their partners, that feeds the female's need for emotional support, right? A man can still be a total badass, but be soft and loving behind closed doors. This guy is giving off easy vibes.
Which is fragile and narcissistic.
Yes, and he'll never have a successful relationship because of that.
Right. Right. If you don't acknowledge your own vulnerabilities or weaknesses, whatever it is, in your own head, if you can't even in your own head acknowledge where you've got a weakness, then you can't ever address it. It's not a sign of strength, it's a sign of weakness. It's fear.
No, and I agree with that. So I was raised by a single mom after she left my father, and she was like, I am woman, hear me roar. So I had many failed relationships before I met my husband because I kind of thought I had to take on that persona when I've always been a caretaker. I've always been, I want to take care of everything in the house. I want to make sure, and that's what I do now. And I'm in a very successful marriage where gender roles are very important. Feminism has destroyed a lot in our country. And I'm not trying to attack any women in your community that may be feminists, but it's an amazing feeling to be in a relationship where the man is the hunter gatherer protector and you are taking care of him. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong.
No,
Were
I
you
totally
laughing
agree
at
with
me?
No, I'm not. I totally agree with you. Cherry Bomb says you've been married 4 times. What the fuck do you know about relationships? I'd say that
No, I have
hold on,
not been married 4 times. I've been
Oh, you
married
haven't?
3 times.
Okay. Well, I mean, and I've been married once. It was a quick, rough marriage. But I think that was probably necessary. I came out of that knowing exactly what I did want and didn't want. I don't know that I have to learn everything through trial and error, basically. So
Yeah.
to some extent, like it could be said, or you could take the perspective that that's why you know about
Yes. So
things.
I was like a 4-year and out person. I would always leave because I
That's
did
about how
have
long I was with my
yeah,
ex-wife.
because I had daddy issues. My dad died when I was 12 at a very pivotal age,
Oof.
and it really fucked me up. So I had huge daddy issues, and therefore I failed because I went into every relationship thinking, I am woman, hear me roar. And my roar was not a roar. I was sabotaging my relationships. And I can admit that. And then I met my husband, whom I reconnected with after knowing, he had the biggest crush on me in middle school, and I rebuffed him. And this man is the exact man that I needed in my life. I love him. He loves me. There's mutual respect. He will
How long have you guys been married? Just out of
8
curiosity.
we've been married 8 years. We've been together 10. So it's been a decade, and we're actually still best friends, which I never understood that whole concept of your partner needs to be your best friend until I met my husband. He is my absolute best friend.
I think that sentence, your partner needs to be your best friend, is confusing.
What's that?
Too. The claim, just as an isolated sentence, right? Your partner needs to be your best friend. I think that is sort of a confusing thing to say to people because
it is.
Did you ever have him in the friend zone? Let me put it that way.
Yes, in middle school.
When he was pursuing you, right?
No. Yes. So in middle school he was, and then we reconnected 10 years ago, and I was looking at it differently. And when I didn't understand the whole your partner needs to be your best friend. I never understood that until I met him, and he's actually my best friend. And I have
Which,
girlfriends and I have
but
other
that's
guy
worth
friends.
distinguishing from like somebody who's in the friend zone, whereas like the whole he's like a brother to me, that sort of shit.
Oh
Where
yeah, no.
right,
Completely different. Completely
right,
different.
and so that's where I think the confusion in that sentence is, and that's what I'm trying to tease apart.
Yeah. No. Completely different from friend zone. This man is my everything. So when I think of a best friend, I think of this is the person I'm going to go to when I'm having a bad day, when I want to celebrate something, when I want to just chat, you know what I mean? But it's reciprocated with him as well. He is just as open with me. He talks to me. We laugh together. Every day we laugh and people are like, "Oh, your husband's an asshole." Yes, he fucking is. He is a
That's probably
fucking
one of his best qualities, isn't it?
Yes, he is a fucking asshole, Flo. But he's my asshole, and I don't ever have to go to bed worrying if I'm protected. I don't ever have to go to bed worrying if he's fucking around. And that's a weird thing for me because I had never experienced that in my previously failed marriages and relationships, and I never had that relationship modeled for me growing up. So it's kind of cool because I have 3 adult children, but they were all young enough to have him in their life. Growing up, my daughter adores him, and it's just an amazing thing when there's gender roles. Now, if I was some weird feminist bitch,
Which
our
you
relation
mentioned you said that you were at first, right? With like your
I
failed
did.
relationship. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And it always failed, but I thought that's what I needed to do. But that's not how I actually internally felt. I've always been a caretaker. I've always been, let me make your life easier. I
Right.
want to be this is going to sound weird, so please don't misinterpret this. I've always wanted to be someone that served my partner but my partner serves me as well, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Yeah, because I agree 100% with you about the gender roles thing, and
Yeah.
When I was at least anecdotally, when I got divorced, and I was clear then from what I did and didn't want. Not that it was ever like my ex-wife wasn't dominant at all, but just knowing from a failed relationship what you want in the next one, and then just start from that starting point, you kind of weed out anybody who doesn't also want the same thing.
I mean, if you see me on YouTube, I'm a pretty dominant, aggressive individual. I am that way in my professional life, but at home, I am not. And I'm not some demure, abused woman. I submit to my husband. He is the head of my household, and this is not a biblical thing. This is something that inherently is ingrained in me, and it feels normal.
I agree with that because I'm not religious either.
Right.
I don't know if you are not, but
I
I
am
think
not.
that
I am not.
there's a natural, so whether it's nature or God or whatever it is, there's just something inherent about it.
Yeah.
I think. What does
feels
your
right.
husband think about your YouTube life and antics?
I think I think he's like love hate. He knows he supports it. There's times where he'll get annoyed, but all in all, he knows this is just me being a fucking asshole. And
Does he participate in any of it, or he just lets you
does.
do? Yeah.
Nope, he does. He participates occasionally, but what I can tell you is I have backed off from how I used to be super gung ho and do a lot more live streams. Now I try to do a lot more like in the mornings or the afternoons when I am working from home or I have the day off. I can I can do it and it not interrupt family time.
Right.
So like today, I was live. Maggie's gone. He's like a broke dick. He worked very hard this week, and he's like, "No, I don't care if you go live. I'm just gonna chill out on the couch with the dogs. I am so exhausted." So I knew it was gonna take away from my relationship. But a year ago, I did make that fuck up where I was putting more effort into YouTube, and I had to really reevaluate and say, "Ooh, I'm messing up." You know what I mean? But he never made me feel bad about it. I had to figure that out on my own.
Sure. Yeah,
If
no,
that
I
makes
asked because I'm
sense.
curious because I think I'm kind of trying to find the right balance there too, and
So I think
but
with most things, I don't know what you do for a living, and I don't know what your schedule is, but
well,
it's
mostly
very
it's this. This is the primary. This is probably the main source of income for me. Although I was an independent contractor in construction before that, and I still pick up some jobs here and there. But primarily I've been focusing on YouTube for about the last 4 or 5 months.
So I think it's really easy to get sucked into the social media. I mean, I used to be monetized. I am not any longer, thanks to Easy, that MFer. And then I decided after I lost my monetization and he gloated about striking me so many times, getting shit removed, that I decided I am not going to try to become monetized again because taking away that earning capacity kind of made me pull back a little bit because I mean, I was bringing in between $2,000 and $4,000 a month. When I lost that, it was a huge hit because I was dependent on that despite working full time. And then I quit my full time job in December. Thank God my husband earns enough that I don't have to work full time. But I was addicted to making the money.
Right. Yeah, it's when you do it this way, there's something different about just earning it straightforward. I don't know what it is. Radio Foreman's not necessarily wrong when he says focusing on YouTube is like focusing on gambling.
Yes, it is. Absolutely. I can agree with that. It is. It's a gamble every month. Every 30 days, it's a gamble. So
And it's a game because you're selling something that's already free.
Yep. Absolutely. That's a great way to say that. Absolutely. So now that's off the table. I could have reapplied in July of last year, and I decided I was not going to. My
Because
second
you think that
channel.
makes it take up too much time, too much of your mental
Yes.
energy. Is that way? Yeah.
Yep. And then my secondary channel that was monetized, they hit that channel. I could have reapplied in October of 2023, but I decided not to. And that made me kind of reevaluate where I was putting my time and effort. So
Yeah, it's not YouTube. At least for me, YouTube has not been a good return on time. If I had put this much time into basically anything else on earth,
well,
I'd probably have made more money.
Yeah, if you're in the drama area like I am, it's easy to make money. But again, that is off the table. So when I was doing my reevaluation and how I'm going to spend my time, which was better for my husband and my daughter, because again, I have three adults that are no longer three adult children. So there's only 3 people in my house.
And are they interested in your YouTubing at all?
Maggie loves it. Maggie thinks it's great because she's just like her mother. But at the same time, I have to look at it like, what's more important? These people that do not actually have a say in my real life, or is it my husband and my daughter?
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've got my daughter's 14, and she could
Yeah.
not care less about my YouTubing.
Really?
Yeah.
So Maggie will sometimes come up on stream dependent on the time and the topic. I'm okay with that, but Most times it's not child friendly.
Yeah.
But
I
I
agree.
just want
Neither is mine. I've started playing some of my stuff like in the car or whatever. If I'm like working on editing or stuff, and it takes about 10 seconds for me to go, you know what? Even though I don't shelter my daughter from things, and
right,
you know, she's allowed to, she still probably doesn't want to hear her dad talk about getting his toes sucked.
No, that's completely inappropriate. But however, I do use some very choice language in front of my child, but I always have. So that's not any different being on the internet or off the internet. I have very fucking amazing children. And it's because I did not shelter them, because I exposed them to the world. I exposed them to, hey, life sucks. You gotta make a decision on how you're gonna live. You
Right.
can run around being angry all the time, or you can be happy.
It's a comedy or a tragedy, right?
Absolutely. But again, thank you for letting me come up, and any women in the chat or men listening, you cannot expect to have a successful relationship if you are not willing to invest. It's like a bank. You're either everybody needs to invest in that bank. You can't have somebody investing and the other partner withdrawing all the time, because it will never be successful.
Agree.
All right, bye, Felicity.
Monograph. I invited Monograph. Bye, Nick. Thanks for coming up. I invited Monograph up to talk about. I wanted to talk about the Rekieta situation with him, but unfortunately he can't because his case is still ongoing. So that's too bad. But all right. I don't think there's a ton of this Paul stuff left. So let's watch this. And then do you guys want, oh shit, I still have a poll. Do you guys want an open panel after that? Would you bang Miss Alabama? 78% said no. 22% of you are shameless. Absolutely shameless.
Majority of women, not only is it a no, it's a resounding no. Like I said, it's 1 to 2 years minimum, and that's like everyone, it seems, of us doing communication and fellowship and working it out. And even after that, triggers are going to come up, challenges are going to come up, tests are going to come up, real life shit's going to come up that we'd rather not have happen, but is meant to happen. That's the game. That's what makes the experience worth having, right? That's what makes a life partner. But, you know, again, there's certain like common sense, simplistic things we can look at. If you got a man who's not honest with the woman he's been with for 10 years, you don't want to fuck with that man. Simple. One thing you've seen about me, good, bad, or indifferent, is Jennifer knows everything the fuck I do, because I do that for me.
Most
Right?
of the
I
men
do that for me.
are either married or have wives. I mean, excuse me, they're either married or have girlfriends. And that just, I get all kinds of confused messages, because here you are telling me that real good men want that one woman or that family unit or that stability, and they don't want all the women that are hot and that come towards them. And then
I didn't say they didn't want them. They're aware that they don't need them and that they're not meant to be.
Well,
that's the
why
spiritual
do you think
intelligence.
women and men are so different in that category? Because women see all sorts of men that are cute and want to flirt with them and stuff. If they want to be monogamous, they will. If they don't want to flirt with them, they won't. We do the same thing. We see a hot guy or somebody with a beautiful face or nice body or something, and it's an aesthetic. We like it.
Right.
But the
Right. But
difference
that's the
between
point,
us
is that
man acts on it.
I guess all we're revealing here is that we're one self again. Even
what Lindsay just said is how men are too. I was paying attention to something else. Whatever if Paul said that men are not the same way, he's wrong.
Even though we're men and women, and even though there's tendencies, there's probably exceptions to the rule. There's also seems to be a change in women. I don't know if you've noticed over the past 50, 100 years.
Yeah, they're more
biological as well and chemical. They're kind of engineering women to be more like men. So it used to be a woman wasn't as compelled to try to hit on a man because he was hot or looked good or whatever else. That's a manly quality. Women didn't do that. Women were looking to self-select for a man who was genetically sound and could produce and create something beyond the average, right? Higher value. That's what a woman was supposed to be screening for genetically, is higher value. That doesn't always come as the most physically attractive. You know, it's kind of more of a man's modality.
I think we're not so different as we are alike, and we're united by universal feelings and experiences. Now, men and women may be okay, they are very different in many ways. The obvious ways are physical, but in short, I think we share more in common than we know, and we shouldn't say
with that.
You're over here and I'm over here, and there's no way we can relate.
I think that at times we're complementary in the sense of, well, like we're opposites in certain ways, and then the more you kind of see the bigger picture, the more again we're oneself. It's just about experience and tendencies, because again, I don't think anyone can argue the tendency with women is, at least the classic woman who is not like dysfunctional and disturbed and then believes that she's on some political affair to empowerment. Most women are not looking to go around hitting on hot men and fucking them. Women can get dick as much as they want it. You're not in short supply of dick. So when you could get it all day, every day, you really just want the best of the bunch. Men can't get pussy all day. Hello? I'm trying to lay something out here. I don't know. All
right.
Men can't get pussy all day, every day. It's not the same dynamic. So
you
for a
can't
man
get pussy all day, every
he's
day.
got to be something. A woman don't have to be shit to get it.
Neither does a man. They're broke ass loser dude getting laid all the fucking time, and then needing a ride home from the chick.
Right? Man and woman's complementary aspects of the way we perceive ourselves in life, not the same. So for women who are goofy enough to run around town and go, I got hoes because they got 10 men, it ain't the same as a man having 10 women. Man can't get 10 women without doing, being, and having. Woman could get 10 men like that for just having pussy. I'm sorry to break the news to everybody. Well, again, a lot of people don't seem to nowadays, especially. They think that we're equal on all levels, and it's not quite the same.
I don't buy the special snowflake theory at all. I don't think any of us are particularly better or worse than the other. I don't think we're like your parents will tell you when you grow up, oh, Paul, you're so smart, you're gonna make it, you're so good looking, you're this.
They never told me any of that. They never told me any of that. So you're talking to the wrong guy for that. Quite the opposite. Paul, you're a fat fuck.
Jefferson.
Paul, you've been a problem since day one. I'll give you some of my quotes from my father. My mother wasn't in my life. Paul, you're a fat fuck. Paul, you've been a problem since day one. Paul, you look like Howdy Doody. That's what I got growing up from my father, and my mother wasn't in my life. So
my dad wasn't in mine.
Right.
It's worth mentioning real quick, just an interesting sort of trivia that might be useful to somebody. When you compliment kids, and I don't remember where, this isn't just me talking. This is me trying to regurgitate research that I read somewhere in the past. But you're supposed to compliment kids for behaviors and achievements, not for attributes that they didn't like. You're not supposed to tell them they're smart, they're pretty. I mean, obviously you can do things like that, but you're supposed to prioritize complimenting them for good behavior, character, achievement, things that they've demonstrated that they've done, not for things that they just oopsed into. Lindsay is probably somebody who got complimented too much for attributes that she did nothing to earn.
You can trauma
And
bond
yes,
a little
I
bit.
do like very masculine men because my dad is very effeminate, and I looked at his hands and they're all soft, and I felt grossed out. Like you've never touched a shovel, have you? You've never dug in the dirt. You've never done anything that, in my mind, a man would do: chop wood, the
Daddy
masculine task kind
issues.
of thing. He doesn't even mow the lawn.
If you want to come up and have a conversation, do it. I'm not going to play your stalker bitch-like games where you follow me around and talk to everyone else except me about me.
So I
Fucking
wanted
embarrassing.
really masculine men with fucked up nails and wrinkles in his face. And
right, but that's the point. You got a effeminate father, so you're attracted to some gutter lowlife who's also bisexual. I'm sure you didn't figure that out about Slow State either. Not that it matters.
I don't know.
You could argue the majority of folks have an aspect of that to some degree and percentage. It seems it's part of the mammalian beingness.
All right, this is what I heard when I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna go live. Hold on, let me back this up. It's amazing.
Right. We can trauma
and
bond
yes,
a little
I
bit.
do like very masculine men because my dad is very effeminate. And I looked at his hands and they're all soft and I felt grossed out. Like you've never touched a shovel, have you? You've never dug in the dirt. You've never done anything that, in my mind, a man would do, chop away the masculine tasks kind of thing. You didn't even mow the lawn.
If you want to come up and have a conversation, do it. I'm not going to play your stalker bitch-like games where you follow me around and talk to everyone else except me about me.
So I wanted really masculine men with fucked up nails and wrinkles in his face. And
right, but that's the point. You got a effeminate father, so you're attracted to some gutter lowlife who's also bisexual. I'm sure you didn't figure that out about Slow State either. Not that it matters.
I don't know.
You could argue the majority of folks have an aspect of that to some degree and percentage. It seems it's part of the mammalian beingness.
All right, let me go full screen for this. I don't feel like I probably need to even say this or harp on it. I think it's probably obvious to everybody that he just said he's bisexual. It's part of the mammalian experience. No, it's not. I'm not bisexual. I'm starting to think Paul wishes I was, but it's not going to happen, Paul. You need to come to terms with the fact that you are either fully gay or halfway there. And then maybe you'd stop being so angry and hostile and bitter. But don't try to make the rest of us gay. I'm not. Oh, and by the way, I've set up a live stream for like half an hour from now for an open panel. So if people want to do an open panel after this, I'm going to end this one and I'll funnel people over to that channel, but we'll be doing, or to that stream. But I'll since most people here probably, well, many of you are probably anticipating a panel because that's a lot of what I do. We will, but I'm gonna lop it onto a different stream.
He's like queening out over there, you know, with light blue earrings and the fucking drawn out in his speech and the way he smokes that cigarette like this. I mean, come on. You know, as much as you're attracted to what you perceive as the inverse of your father, it's one and the same.
So me smoking cigarettes. Man, Paul, if you think me smoking a cigarette is gay, that's because you're gay. And you see what you want to see. Well, obviously Paul sees what he wants to see. It like so much so that it's probably needs a diagnosis and professional intervention, but whatever.
You got an effeminate male
That's his
masquerading
problem, not
as a
mine.
tough boy. You know, and you guys fall for it. And then when you ask him,
It was not a masquerade when I invited Paul to fight me, to bare knuckle fight me on Street Beefs. Like I said then, like I said after, like I'm going to repeat now. That's a standing offer. That's an open offer. Anytime Paul wants to fight me on Street Beefs, I'm game.
what does he do on the ground or stand for anything? He goes, I'm a punk coward. I get the license, I get the plates, I do what I'm told, and I can't hang drywall. And I got a daddy boss, you tell me, who's another failure. Sorry to have to say it. I like the kid, but it's obvious by looking at him and the way he lives and the look on his face. He doesn't like himself and his life, and he's not going anywhere in life. You can tell by looking at a motherfucker's eyes and facial expressions and muscles whether they really believe in themselves, have confidence, and are going somewhere in this life. It's like that.
That's
like,
what his.
And what do you see when you look at Paul's eyes and facial expression? I see fear. He reeks of fear.
Just look at me right now. Look at my eyes. Like, look at this
Fear
right here on me.
and
right?
anger.
And just get the sense of what it indicates, right? And now look at this being.
The two go hand
ahead,
in
Tom.
hand.
Come on camera.
With Paul. Not with
Oh,
everybody, but they do with
Go
Paul.
ahead, Tom. Come on camera, please.
You said we
Come on
could talk
camera,
and right
please,
out the
Tom.
gate.
Tom,
Now,
come
your
on
first
camera,
fallacy.
please.
First
Tom,
off,
come on
Brian,
camera,
you look
please.
fucking
We're going to
great.
do a live expose. I'm going to show her a disempowered, emotionally bankrupt, broken, bitter, angry, involuntary celibate.
Yeah, she's been here talking to you all.
Bisexual, resentful male. I'm going to show it to her right now. Could you please come on camera? I want you to just look at this.
You're
region
talking
right
about a woman that has been told she can get straight on my.
Are you going to come on camera? I know you're here to indirectly promote your horrible broadcast that's failing and can't get over 20 live viewers, a lot like Snafu and many other coattail riding deviants. Could you just play along with the simulation for once, please? You come on camera before you start railing and indirectly promoting.
You can't. You don't understand.
You can't get rid of these fucking parasitic using trash, addict trash, parasitic addicted using trash that just can't get out of my life. And then when they come here, I go, could you just play along with what's going on then? If we're going to come here, because I haven't gone to your area. What has it been, a month now? You'll say I'm there all the time because I check in from time to time. And then when I go away, you guys always circle back around to me. But you can never play along. When I come over there, I play along. I let you do whatever you want. I come on camera to give you your narratives so you can spin, tell your lies. I at least play along on your 20-person channel. Could you do me the same favor and respect, please?
Well, the problem is you call it playing, and I never have been. And you're just showing your
This
loop.
is all one big game for you.
You're really still
all
on
one
that
big
loop.
game for you. You know you don't really believe whatever you're saying. Just a way to be seen and heard and pretend to have power.
I literally just told you I don't play. And you keep saying
You
your
have
own.
no reason you need to be here. If you don't like me and don't respect me like so many others, why are you still watching day in and day out? Why do you have a need to be here? And why is it when you come here, you can't conform to what goes on here? Pure, broken, childlike games back to middle school with the teacher, the person up front, which is me in this case. All you guys are.
We all know you have.
You can't imagine the fact that I was having a great conversation with Lindsay. Maybe she's seeing some things. She's kind of submitted to the process with me. It's been a great time today. And the deviant, who it wasn't about him, had to come in like they always do and start promoting indirectly. And when I ask him to play along with the bit, he can't do it. Because even though he knows it's a game, non-game, he's got too much pride and ego to submit to the process while claiming to be right all the time.
I can
If
work
you
with
were
that.
right, if you were right in your life and really had power and believed in what you were saying, you'd go along with anything at some point, play along like I do. Whatever, doesn't bother me. You guys are so rigid and stiff and unable to adapt and overcome or change the presentment. I know you don't really have a foundation. I know you don't have integrity. You're pure insecurity and fear.
I can't believe someone could go as long as you and project what.
Yeah, I know. I'm not interested in what you think or feel, though. Honestly, I never really am. I think that you're an interesting character and there's potential there, and we could have a mutually beneficial rap, but you can't get your personality disorder out of the way to get it done. So, right? So, and I can't use your personality disorder because it's uncontrolled. So it's like we're still at the same point in this interaction for the last
because
year and
we
a half.
are the classic narcissist versus empath, and you don't know which side of that.
I know. This is the same theme you delusional folks who have nobody and nothing keep telling yourselves on Facebook and online to 20 live viewers that I'm the narcissist and you're the enlightened empath. What a coincidence.
Well, the funny thing about what you just said is
who's the one who just came to my area to try to redirect my broadcast for his own purposes because he doesn't have enough in his own area? That's you, a trait of narcissism. Who just gave the grandiose view of himself that no one else here believes or accepts or has any evidence of? He did. Another quality of narcissism. I mean, we could go down the list. Would you like me to pull up the list of narcissistic traits and we can go over it and show how you're like 9 out of 10?
I already did
like
that.
2 out of 10? If we
Oh, Paul, don't make me do one on you too. Hold on, I was just getting bored with it, and then he made that claim that
a mutually beneficial rap, but you can't get your personality disorder out of the way to get it done. So, right? So, and I can't use your personality disorder because it's uncontrolled. So it's like we're still at the same point in this interaction for the last year and a
we
half.
are the classic narcissist versus empath, and you don't know which side of that.
I know. This is the same theme you delusional folks who have nobody and nothing keep telling yourselves on Facebook and online to 20 live viewers that I'm the narcissist and you're the enlightened empath. What a coincidence.
Well, the funny thing about what you just said is
who's the one who just came to my area to try to redirect my broadcast for his own purposes because he doesn't have enough in his own area? That's you, a trait of narcissism. Who just gave the grandiose view of himself that no one else here believes or accepts or has any evidence of? He did. Another quality of narcissism. I mean, we could go down the list. Would you like me to pull up the list of narcissistic traits and we can go over it and show how you're like 9 out of 10? And I may have like a 2 out of 10 if we really want to reach.
Flow State already tried that. And I know you guys suck each other.
I know Slow State tried that, but he's like a really low level consciousness frequency, uneducated, trash like slave. So I don't know why you would compare.
Uneducated? What the fuck you mean? I'm way more educated than you are, Paul.
Not
that education is is the same as intelligence. It's not. I hold intelligence in much higher regard than education. But what a weird thing for him to attack me on.
Thousands of hours of what I do and have lived for a decade with some cretin like Slow State. I don't see the comparison.
Well, that's where your warthog creature did you wrong. He was trying to play me and Flow State like we're a team when I don't like any of you. And I'm winning against
that. You can't get along with anyone. We know that. Tom, we know that. You can't get along with anyone because you don't like yourself and your life. That's usually how it works.
You're misphrasing. May I correct?
There's no need to correct because I'm entitled to that's the narcissistic trait you have where you won't allow anyone their own perspective of you and you're going to fight them to change it. I don't have to change my perspective of you. Why does it bother you if you're not that? Why do you have to keep fighting me for 2 years for me to change my perspective of you?
All right. I think that we're essentially done with this. Let's see.
What I am.
Yeah, man. I think that I was just telling Lindsay, she's asking what's up with the pimp goofy bitches thing. Might be PGB, might be a t-shirt brand, might help fund Unslavia. That was my response because we're just living.
Rodney Kidney says that's you, Moose.
Jefferson O'Shea. Is this really another motherfucking O'Shea? No way. God damn.
He's giving you that. That's you.
That's you.
Oh, that's you. That's me. I'm feeling so bad about myself. I feel so jaded.
There's no way he's bringing in more O'Shea's.
Like everybody, like when I came up here and I
it's
asked
got to be
that question, right?
joke.
I knew that would trigger him. Why? Because he's just like me. All you guys are just like me.
Sitting in his car getting high on a live stream. It might be fucking O'Shea.
We're all just like each other. We all have weaknesses. We all have
Yeah, get on camera, man. You're right. He looks just like you. You guys can be cousins.
We're practically
on camera, man.
When you poke the
Get on the camera, man. Why are you not able to camera? Why is that happening?
Stop messing with my camera, dude.
Oh my God, this is producer guy.
Hold on,
He's trying to get on camera and it's not letting him. He's actually fighting him the thing's fighting him to not be seen. Like Dana from StreamYard's going, you're such a loser, Moose. You're not going to be seen on this broadcast. So when he hits the button, Dana from the back hits it. Just goes right off. Right? Dana finally doing her job. You know, I mean, that's one place I won't be mad at Dana if she just stops Moose and other beta males from being seen on camera. Just...
All right. I think I'm done with that. Real quick before we go over to the open panel, there is something. I got to do this real quick. And let me say, first of all, I love you all. No, first of all, well, yes, but also, what I want to say is that I have done a video where I go through the narcissistic traits and apply it with Tommy and apply them to Tommy. And for what it's worth, my opinion is that even though the traits, when taken in isolation, fit Tommy, right? You can look at the list of narcissistic traits and go, yep, yep. And even though I made a video saying that he's a narcissist, I don't actually believe that Tommy has NPD. I do actually believe that that Paul does. And no, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a psychiatrist. I am pretty educated on these things. I'm an armchair intellectual, if you will. I also have done quite a bit of looking into the cluster B disorders specifically because, as many of you know, I had to get a court-ordered psych evaluation because a woman at sentencing said I was a psychopath, which, by the way, I passed the psych evaluation. But before I pull this up, for what it's worth, I don't actually think Tommy has NPD. I do think Paul does. And the distinction being between narcissistic traits and narcissistic behavior and narcissistic personality disorder. One is a delusion, right? The others can be chalked up to arrogance, callousness, whatever. All those things are features of narcissistic personality disorder, but the disorder truly deals with a delusion that is present, I believe, with Paul and not with Tom. That's also why, interestingly, a lot of people don't know that psychopathy is not a mental disorder. It's not a disease. It's not included in the DSM. The closest thing to it is antisocial personality disorder. But psychopathy is not included. It's considered a subclinical cluster of traits. Basically, it's a personality. Because even though it's a difficult personality type to deal with, it's not actually a delusion or a dysfunction, right? There's nothing broken in the perception that psychopaths have. It's just a difference in valuing certain things. So real quick, because he brought it up, we got to go through these traits real quick. We're going to blast through these. Symptoms of narcissistic personality disorder and how severe they can vary. People with the disorder have an unreasonably high sense of self-importance and require constant excessive admiration. Does Paul have that? Yes, absolutely he does. Does he feel that he deserves privileges and special treatment? Absolutely, yes, he does. When he's come over here, he got irate that I do name changes on my panels. For $2, you can pay to change the name of anyone on the panel to whatever you choose it to be, as long as it's not too far over the line, right? But he got a name change just like it. You can change my name on my panels. I'm not above it either. He apparently was above it, irate. You'd see that he expects privileges and special treatment everywhere he goes. That's why he doesn't really go anywhere except for his own place in OTWs, where he's treated as the God King. Expect to be recognized as superior even without achievements. 100,000%, Paul. Make achievements and talents seem bigger than they are. Yup. Be preoccupied with fantasy about success, power, brilliance, beauty, or the perfect mate. Yup. Believe they are superior to others and can only spend time with or be understood by equally special people. I would say that he does believe he can. He will spend time with people he does not view as his equals. In fact, that's the only thing he spends time with. That's really the only thing that exists for Paul. But he does not believe that he can be understood by them, and he does believe he is superior to them. They're decorations for his narcissistic delusion. And this is why narcissistic people are so difficult to get along with, because they live in a fantasy world, and you have to behave in a way that validates their fantasy and delusion, or else you got to go. Be critical of and look down on people they feel are not important. Duh. Expect special favors and expect other people to do what they want without questioning them. Duh. Anybody who's ever watched any of Paul's shit knows that this is exactly what he is. Be critical. Let's see. Yeah. Take advantage of others to get what they want. Absolutely. As I've known him 2 years, he's never done anything but mooch off his old girlfriend mom. Have an inability or unwillingness to recognize the needs and feelings of others. That is correct. He sometimes acknowledges that others have needs, but he's really describing his own because he doesn't care what their needs are. He's referring to his own needs of them. He is confusing the two. That is classic narcissistic personality disorder. Be envious of others and believe others envy him. I mean, I couldn't. That's what the fuck this stream is exactly about. I couldn't have set this up any better if I had done it intentionally. Behave in an arrogant way, brag a lot, and come across as conceited. Yup. Insist on having the best of everything, for instance, the best car or office. I don't think that. I mean, who knows? Maybe in that house or trailer, wherever they're at, maybe he does insist on having the best of what's available to him. But from where I'm sitting, we cannot say that this is the case. He does not have the capacity to have the best of anything. At the same time, people with narcissistic personality disorder have trouble handling anything they view as criticism. Yep. They can become impatient or angry when they don't receive special recognition or treatment. Yep. Have major problems interacting with others and easily feel slighted. Yep. React with rage or contempt and try to belittle other people to make themselves appear superior. That's what his whole channel is, basically. Have difficulty managing their emotions and behavior. 1000%. Experience major problems dealing with stress and adapting change. I would say so. Yeah, I would say so. Although it's worth, for the sake of fairness, pointing out that the only stress that I've experienced him experiencing is the stress he gets from being criticized. So I don't know what he's like in real life when encountering a stressful situation, but I would guess that it is that he reacts with rage and contempt. Let's see. Have major problems interacting with others, feel easily slighted, react with rage. Withdraw from or avoid situations where they might fail. Fuck yeah. That's why he barely goes anywhere except for his place in OTWs, which is his vacation home. He has come over here a few times. I will give him credit where it's due. But when he has, it appears to me to have been because he has difficulty managing his emotions and behavior. And he wanted to come react with rage or contempt and try to belittle others because he was getting criticized, basically. So yeah, that fits him 100,000%. Feel depressed and moody when they fall short of perfection. I don't know that I have enough information to answer this one. Have secret feelings of insecurity, shame, humiliation, and fear of being exposed as a failure. Nobody can say for sure what his secret feelings are, but I think it's fucking obvious that that would apply too. All right. Does anybody have any thoughts? No. All right, let's go. I mean, maybe. All right. We're going to go over, I'm going to do a live panel or an open panel. But I'm going to do it in a new stream. You can either click the link that I'm about to drop right now, or you'll be herded over there in just a second. Let me get that one started before I funnel you over there. All right, now I am streaming in both streams. I'm going to end this one. You guys will be funneled over. Thank you for watching. Hit the like if you haven't.